Let's dive into chapter 4, why his options aren't the real issue. You don't actually have a problem with men having options. You have a problem with not understanding how to stand in your position when he does. When I say navigate him through his options, I know that triggers women. It sounds like I'm telling you to tolerate disrespect, to accept things that you shouldn't, to sit there while a man entertains other women. And that is absolutely not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the reality is men can be influenced by their primal nature and by unhealed women. They can develop a weakness for attention and validation, and they may entertain things they should not entertain. And we just don't like to talk about that because it forces us to confront something deeper. It forces you to confront that your reaction to his behavior often comes from not being fully rooted in yourself. So instead of staying grounded, you start competing, overgiving, over explaining, and trying to prove your value. And that's where everything will start to collapse. So when I say navigate, I am not saying to manage a man, excuse his behavior, or prove yourself. I'm talking about self mastery. This is a state of being. It is about remaining rooted in your wholeness and allowing him to be exactly who he is. Because in that space, you're not chasing clarity. You are simply reflecting it. And if you're not whole, if what you reflect back is fragmented, he will not be able to see himself clearly. The first requirement to any real union is that he has vision. And the truth is, many women don't actually know or understand their man's vision. They're responding to the man and not the direction he's going or trying to go. Where there's no vision, remember, the people will perish. So if there is no vision, there's nothing to align with. And now everything becomes emotional, reactive, and unstable. A man without vision cannot filter his perceived options, so everything starts to look the same. Your presence will either sharpen his clarity or blend in with his confusion. I go much deeper into this inside of Wives in Training because this isn't something you just hear once. It is something that you become. It is an entire identity shift. Once you understand his vision, your role as his helpmate is to consistently reflect it back all the time, not through control, but through who you are, your self-awareness, your standards, and your alignment with the future he said that he wanted. So now you become a living reflection of that direction. You're not competing, you're not arguing, you are anchoring. You're not trying to stop him, you're simply showing him through your alignment what leads to his purpose and what distracts from it. And if he steps outside of that vision, if he entertains things that contradicts what he said he wanted, that is on him, not you. Because a woman can reflect vision, but she cannot create discipline. That is why it is so important for you to understand thoroughly what his vision is before you even move forward with the man. Okay, guys, chapter 5, how to actually be the woman who reflects his vision. I'm going to give you guys step by step. So number 1, you're going to anchor yourself to his vision, not his attention. Pay attention to what he says he's building, where he's going, and what kind of man he's trying to become. And you consistently align your energy with that, not with his temporary behavior. So when distractions show up, you're not reacting emotionally. You're referencing the standard he has already set for himself. So you can always guide him back to that. Number 2, you reflect, not compete. You're not trying to outperform other women. Instead, you'll make the contrast obvious without saying much. For example, you may say things like, does that align with what you told me you were building? Or something along those lines. And now he will have to think. You're activating his discernment, not replacing it. Number 3, you reward alignment, not inconsistency. Men move towards what feels good and what is reinforced. So when he is disciplined, focused, and aligned, you're warm, open, supportive. And when he's distracted, inconsistent, or moving out of alignment, you don't argue, you simply withdraw access to your energy. Your presence becomes tied to his alignment. Number 4, you don't over-explain reality, you embody it. A woman who is grounded does not need to convince a man what is valuable. He feels the difference. Your peace, your clarity, your standards naturally separate you from chaos, drama, and easily accessible women. Number 5, you ask questions that lead to clarity. So you're not going to ask any emotional questions like, what is this? You ask directional questions like, you might slide in, well, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Or what is your vision? And eventually you might get to the space to where you can ask, are you vetting me for a wife? Now you're helping him navigate without controlling him. Number 6, you must be willing to walk away if he stays misaligned. This is the most important step because if you stay no matter what, you're making yourself no different than those options. If you only remain in environments that honor vision, discipline, and direction, you actually become the standard. So men don't struggle with women because they have so many options. They struggle because too many options look the same when there's no vision filtering them. And your role is not to eliminate the options. Your role is to be so aligned, so clear, and so grounded that he has no choice but to see the difference between what will feed his future versus what will actually destroy his future. Chapter 6. If it's always easy, it's not depth. If it's moving fast, it's not deep. And a lot of women are mistaking intensity for intention. This is because social media has conditioned us to believe that if a man is giving you grand gestures, trips, cars, gifts early on, it means he cares about you. It means he's serious. It means he is being real. And I want to use Megan and Clay, for example, not to judge, but to highlight something deeper. Because from the outside, it looks beautiful. It looks like so much effort. It looks like this is a valuable relationship. But what most women don't realize is that fast, grand gestures can create a false sense of connection. You will get swept up in the experience, the attention, and the feelings, and you start attaching meaning to things that were never meant to hold that weight. And now you're emotionally invested in something that hasn't actually been built because real connection is not built fast. It is not built on pressure, performance, or presentation. It's built on alignment. There is no rush, but there also isn't forever. A slow, steady love with clear intention is where stability actually lives. And this is where most women get it wrong. You're mastering how much a man spends on you instead of understanding where he is going. A man of vision does not prove himself through his resources all the time. He reveals himself through direction. Men don't attach the same meaning to spending the same way that women do, especially men with means. I had a guy tell me, money comes and goes. They will book plane tickets the day before. That's just how they roll. It does not require depth, commitment, or alignment for a man to spend money on you. So if you're not actually aligned with that vision, everything else you're receiving is surface level. It may feel good and it may look good, but it's not sustainable because a man can give you experiences and still not see you in his future. This is why you have to move from reacting to gestures to discerning alignment. You stop asking, what is he doing for me? And you start asking, where is he going? And am I inside of that? A grounded woman doesn't get swept up by presentation. She pays attention to consistency, direction, and intention over time. I used to think my mom was crazy when she would say this, but I've turned down so many trips and so many experiences because I realized very early on, if it's not rooted in vision, it doesn't matter. You don't measure love by how fast it comes or how big it looks. You measure it by how steady it is and where it's actually leading. So no, gifts, trips, and experiences are not a bad thing, but they are not the foundation. They are the extra. And if you build your perception of connection on those things, you will always feel confused when the relationship doesn't hold. What sustains a relationship is alignment, intention, and shared direction. And without that, everything fades. Chapter 7, Honesty without purpose cannot lead. A lot of people are saying that men should just be honest and express what they want. If they want non monogamous relationships, they should just say that. But guys, that is not the solution either. The problem with just being honest is that many women mistake honesty for alignment when honesty without vision is still chaos, guys. Because a man saying, I want to see other women, or I am not monogamous and you can continue on with me, this does not make him liberated, evolved, or truthful at a higher level. It simply reveals that he is disconnected from the very vision that will regulate his appetite. And if a man is telling you that, you should take it seriously and move accordingly. Very far away. At his core, a man does not actually want endless access because it depletes him. It scatters his focus, it fragments his energy, and it keeps him chasing novelty instead of committing to direction. Remember, vision is monogamous in nature. A vision does not want to be drained by options. He wants his vision to be seen, which is why open arrangements do not create fulfillment. Even when women convince themselves they are secure, evolved, or detached enough to handle it. Because instead of expansion, it actually produces exhaustion on both ends. Like, it's almost like an easy class where everyone gets an A and no one grows, no one stretches, and no one values the outcome. Whereas the class that requires discipline, focus, and sacrifice and mastery is the one that shapes you, the one that you remember, and the one you are proud of. That is how men are when it comes down to women. A man does not deeply value what requires nothing of him. He values what calls him higher, what makes him examine himself, and what forces him to ask if he is qualified for that level of woman, not because she played games or manipulated him or withheld love, but because her wholeness carried a standard. Her presence had weight, her femininity had boundaries, and her softness had discernment. And most importantly, her love was not cheap access, but covenant level alignment. This is where many women misunderstand the standard, believing they deserve a 1% man because they are beautiful, educated, feminine presenting, successful, or desirable, when those are not necessarily 1% wife qualities. A degree does not make you a helpmate. Beauty does not make you whole. External femininity does not mean emotional regulation. And success does not mean you can expand a man's vision without competing with it. The real 1% qualities are deeper: self mastery, wholeness, emotional discipline, spiritual discernment, vision alignment, and an ability to help a man stay connected to who God called him to be. That is why just tell him to be honest about him seeing other people or him being non-monogamous, or letting you know from the beginning that there's other people involved. That is not a solution, and it never will be, because the goal is not to create space for him to be depleted. The goal is to be the kind of woman whose wholeness reflects his vision back to him. If you made it this far, you're exactly who I created Wives in Training for. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe if this video resonated with you. And don't forget, stay perfectly you. Until next time.